Welcome, everyone. Good morning.
She's a Korean.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, thank you, Ron and Rhonda. I appreciate that. Welcome to SAPA, March 18, 2014, day after St. Patrick's Day. And I see that some people still wore green today, or else you didn't change your clothes from yesterday. One of the two. We'll leave that up to you. So, glad you're here on a beautiful, sunny day. Who thinks we're finally going to get warm weather? Raise your hand. You optimists. I am still a pessimist. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Every morning, my family is tired of me hearing me say, I am just tired of being cold. Just tired. So, hopefully someday it will warm up here. So, if we could stand, as we do at every SAPA meeting for the last year and a half, because think soon you're going to get rid of me. We might never have to do this again. So, and that new person can decide what to say. So, let's say the concept. Spring Arbor University.
Community of learners, distinguished by our lifelong involvement in the study and application of the liberal arts, total commitment to Jesus Christ as perspective for learning, and critical participation in the contemporary world.
Remain standing, because what did I just do? Aaron, where are you? This is why I gave Aaron Myrtle last time. Remember that? You guys remember that? Hey, well, what I was going to do is, does anyone know the, wait down here. I don't know how to look at it. That guy right there. Okay. So, you can go ahead and have a seat. We were going to say the verse of the year. And, oh, there it is. Stay seated and we'll sing. Stay seated. Start with the Matthew 5:16. Let's say the verse. Matthew 5:16.
Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven.
Let's pray. Lord, we thanks for a beautiful day. And we thanks for a chance to just get away from our desk and just enjoy fellowship and some fun. And we just thank you for every way that you bless us. Guide us through this day. In your name, amen. Let's see if this works now. It doesn't, but that's okay. Okay, so next, birthday club. Okay, if you have a birthday in March, please stand up. If you had a birthday in February and you did not, Kristen, don't stand up. You did not receive your birthday free drink, you can stand up and get that. We only have 2 birthdays? Oh, there we go. We have 3, 4. So February or March? So, did we get it all?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, you guys. Hope you had a great one. The snacks this month provided by Financial Aid and Business Office, so let's give them a hand for that. Did anybody find the toenail in those cakes? Good. I'm just impressed somebody even tried to eat those things. So thank you for bringing those. Any new employees? New employee? Oh, Gordon.
I'm not a new employee.
No, you're not. Go ahead.
But Lauren Evans, she just started yesterday in the business office. So
We have something for you. After you, Gordon. Sorry. I know you always try to sneak in on the prizes, but we have a welcome. Glad you're here. There you go. Spring Arbor Cup for you. Any other new employees? We're not giving anything for anybody who has new titles or promotions or job changes or anything, because that would break the budget line. So I just want you to know that. So we decided not to do that. Couple quick things. Remember, hopefully every time you come in, you get your card stamped by Jody in the back. If in May, we will look for, you can turn in your stamp card if they have 7 or more stamps on them. Okay? You can turn them in to win, again, Hinkley Donuts for your office, or also a pizza party, or And remember, so the more from your office that show up for these, the better chance you have to win for your office. So don't forget to stop by and have Jody stamp those for you. Quick plug. As I joked about it, my time as president is winding down. Thank you, Jesus. Just kidding. I will miss the bonus check I get every month for doing this job. So, so this is the leadership team. If you remember, last year we passed new bylaws that the vice president, Joe Neal, will become the president the next year. Okay, so the vice president is a 2-year job commitment. And so we will start seeking nominations in April, but I just wanted you to prepare your mind to, if you want to be part of the leadership team of SAPA, let me know, email me, call me, do whatever, and we can put your name on for nomination. Love to have you participate in, again, not knowing what Joe will do, but you can ask the teams that I have been in charge of. Once the year gets going, the time commitment is not that much through meetings and that type of things. And so, but anyways, love to have you participate. We had a chili cook-off last time. I don't know if you look at the SAPA website every day like I do, but you should. Eric Beta won the chili cook-off. Thank you for everybody who participated in it. It was great chili. I love chili, and so it was great. So this next thing, I'll just do this. We are having the SAPA Sheet of Integrity for March Madness, okay? This is not gambling, okay? There is no money involved in this. But we think it would be fun, I think it would be fun if, I know a lot of offices secretly do this in their basement. There's someone figuring up their little brackets and, that type of thing. And so we are passing these around, only if you want to participate. The winner gets nothing, except maybe your picture up there. But if you want to participate and fill out a bracket and send it to me, you can do that, okay? Totally up to you. It's not required, just kind of a fun thing to do. And so they're passing them out. So that's why I stole it from ESPN Radio. They have a sheet of integrity. So listed the rules on there. But love to have you participate. It'd be fun to see who wants to do it and just have a lot of fun with it. Myrtle has been making away its round. Myrtle moved off campus, which is great. Moved off to the sites this past time. Make sure you're looking at the SAPA website to see where Myrtle is. I think I can't think who was the last Myrtle person with it. I think it's coming from the Dearborn site. And so it's very cool how Myrtle has been being passed around this year to show appreciation. Okay. I'm going to introduce Matt. Matt's going to come up and talk to us briefly about the We Give campaign. Just kind of give us an update and talk a little bit more about it. Matt?
Hi everybody. Thanks for letting me come and share with you for a few minutes. I am not going to go through all the details of the We Give campaign. I think you guys have gotten emails and postcards and heard enough from me about that. So I asked Jim if I could come up and just take a few minutes and share from my heart why I feel like this is important, and why I'm involved in this. And so I think first of all, I work in the advancement office, and I am the director of the Arbor Fund. And so when I tell people that, often I hear people say, "Oh, I could never do that job. I could never be a fundraiser." And as which is kind of kind of disheartening to hear that. But I couldn't do a lot of your jobs either. So I see, hey, I could never live in the residence hall. That'd be frustrating. Anyway, but as I look at my job, I don't see myself as a fundraiser, as somebody who sits across the table from somebody and says, "We need your money. You have to give it. If I don't get your money, then I lose my job, or then this university shut." That's not what I do on a regular basis. I guess part of it is true, but I guess I see my role as somebody who comes alongside people. God has given us all resources to steward, to spend well, to save well, and to give well. And so my job is to come alongside people and say, what has God put on your heart? How has He wired you? What are your passions? What things do you want to see accomplished? And is there a way that Spring Arbor can partner with you in helping accomplish that? And so not too long ago, I was talking to an accountant, and he was telling me how exciting his job is. But he said, basically, I sit in front of a computer all day. I don't actually get to talk to people very often. And so one of his great joys is getting that phone-a-thon call every semester, because he gets to talk to a student. I'm sure he talks to other people in his life. But he said, I spend 8 hours a day in front of a computer making money, and he believes in the cause of his organization and what they're doing. But he also says, by making that money and being able to give it, I get to further God's kingdom. And so that's kind of how I see my job. God is the fundraiser. I never reach through the phone or reach across the table, grab somebody's wallet, and pull money out. My job is to share what's going on here. I share student stories. I share alumni stories. I share what you guys are doing around campus. And people are very generous and willing to support what we're doing here. So, backing up now, the employee giving campaign. I do want to share a couple facts. Over a third of employees give monthly through payroll deductions. I just thought that was over a third. So if this is a random sampling of campus, over a third of you give regularly each month out of your paycheck. Over half have given already this year. And I suspect that several more will give before the end of this campaign. And so I don't look at this campaign as, hey, we're twisting your arm, trying to get you to make a gift. I know that God has placed a lot of things on people's hearts. There's a lot of places you give, a lot of places a lot of things that you need to buy or things that you want to buy, places you want to save your money for future things. And so that's between you and God. I'm not here to twist any arms or put any pressure. I just wanted to share, how I guess exciting it is for me to know that there are so many people who not only support this place by the time and energy that they put in to investing in students, and investing in this campus, and investing into the regional sites, but then on top of that, we turn around and make a gift back to this institution. So it's exciting to me. If you guys have questions about the campaign at all, about any of the details or anything, in my mind, this is not this is when everybody makes a gift, and if you haven't made a gift throughout the year, or if you haven't made a gift this month, your gifts throughout the year don't matter. I view this as kind of a little icing on the cake. That this is a little fun competition that we can have, kind of like filling out brackets. That if your office can kind of get together and encourage each other, and we can do this together, then it's kind of fun. So that's kind of all I wanted to say. Just let you know that I appreciate all the work that you're doing, the way that you're investing in students, whether that's from the front lines or whether that's behind the scenes, and the ways that you are helping to further the mission of Spring Arbor University.
And I know we don't take money after March 31st, but this little game goes until March 31st, right? Okay. So has there been an update lately of
There should be an email that goes out either today or tomorrow.
Okay, great, to know where your office is or who's in the lead or whatever. So again, I do encourage you to participate. Always giving back is a great thing. So as Matt just talked about, he loves to tell the stories and hears stories from students, and we are privileged today, I think we are, to hear from some of our students. We took a mission trip. We took mission trips last week. We do have mission trips that go during spring break, and I think this is, I would have loved to say that Dr. Ellis and I worked together on this, but he sent the staff, in fact, an email after he spoke in chapel to the students about being ambassadors as they go during spring break. And at the same time, I was emailing the leaders of the mission trips, and I said, hey, it'd be great to have some students who went on your mission trips to come and tell us their story of this past week. So they are hot off the press of just getting back this past weekend or whatever. But we have 4 students that are going to share their experience last week, where they went, what they did, and how the Lord used themselves and their team. So there was really no order, but we're going to start with Michaela, and she's going to go first.
So my name is Michaela Williams, and Laura, do you want to come up here, or are you going after? Okay. We can go together. Okay. So my name is Michaela Williams. I'm a sophomore. I'm a social work major, and this was kind of my first short-term mission trip to a country. This was Puerto Rico. Before the trip, we did a lot of fundraising and planning and lots of fact learning because, like I said, none of us had really ever been to Puerto Rico and weren't really sure, is this its own country? Is this a third world country? No, it's a U.S. territory. Well, I feel like I think a lot of us had to really just be flexible and be willing to learn a lot. And I know for me, thinking of a short-term missions trip, oftentimes I'm like, oh, like it's so cool. I can't wait to go and do something to help someone, which is awesome. But at the same time, I think I learned a lot about my own attitude towards being a member of this trip. It's not just, what I can do and what I can benefit from this trip, but it's actually just the work that God is doing through each of us on the trip. And I think a lot of it for me was just learning how to better relate to people, whether it's the Puerto Rican people, because we did get to do some local ministry. We got to go visit a church, and we got to visit a youth group and do worship in Spanish and English and probably a couple other languages. And we also were able to do a lot of hands-on work doing construction at a campsite there. The campsite is with a missionary family called the Millers, or Marshalls, sorry. I see Carrie shaking her head, I know. It's been a couple late nights, I'm not gonna lie. But it was a lot of fun and just a lot of good opportunities to, like I said, meet people, to be open and to just be available to God, just to listen to what He has on our hearts. And yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I definitely would love to go back, and I can't wait to hear how the camp does with all that we were able to do there. We expanded their site a bit. It's something that our school has been involved in for 13 years. And yeah, it was just a really great experience. We did a lot of building walls, concreting, lots of rebar, lots of sunburn. But it was really cool just to see how all of us could come together to make something that was needed for these people. And I think that if anything from this trip, I just learned, people are people no matter where you go, and God can use you to do things that you don't understand, whether it's building a wall when you have absolutely no construction experience, or going to a Spanish-speaking country when you don't even know any Spanish other than hola and how to count till 5. So God can use you in awesome ways, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you for all of your guys' prayers and support, and even for fundraising. There was a lot of fundraising involved, and we're definitely very thankful for all the supporters. And President Ellis's speech just about being an ambassador and how we were able to do that there in ways that we didn't know we'd be able to. So, thank you. Anyone want to go next? Would you like to go next?
Hi, I'm Samantha Drowley. I'm also a sophomore here, and I am an international business major. I went on the Hamtramck missions trip, which is in Detroit. It's a small 2 square mile city there, and surprisingly a lot of people don't know about it, but they have a huge population of Yemenis and Bangladesh people. And so the group that we worked with was Acts 29, and they're actually turning into the International Hope Center. Acts 29 is being dissolved, and they're turning into IHC. And they work a lot with the Yemenis and Bangladesh people, teaching them English as a second language. And they minister to them through that program and stuff. They have programs for women and men. And so it was really neat getting to go there. Our team went with the attitude of absolutely no expectations. We wanted to go and just serve Acts 29 and be able to help them in whatever ways they needed. If they needed a bathroom cleaned, we would go clean the bathroom. If they needed some flyers passed out, we'd go pass out some flyers. And I think that was really cool because a lot of times teams can go in and the missionaries have to cater to the teams and stuff like that because they have a new project that they want to do or whatever. But we just went and finished up all the random projects that they had, and some of that was they're getting ready on April 5th to open a new church, and it's called True Worship. And so we went and finished the drywalling that they had up and painted and finished the nursery, and so that was pretty neat getting to see that project finished once we left. And we flyered the city with flyers for their ESL programs, and we also got to start a youth group. We did like a get to know the youth group at True Worship and set up a worship night and stuff and invited kids from the community, and that was really neat. Their youth group doubled in one night, so getting to see the kids. And my favorite part of the trip was getting to know the teenagers there. They had us very small, like 3 or 4 kids in their youth group, and they came from very broken homes, and so getting to know them and their stories and just getting to minister to them and talk with them and build into their lives was really a neat experience. And we, as a team, are planning to go back again on April 5th for the opening of their church, just to see how they're doing and stuff. And that was just really amazing for me. I've done a lot of missions overseas, but nothing here at home. And so getting to go back after the mission trip is over with and still see how things are progressing and how, I guess, God made a difference in their lives through us, and just getting to see that is really neat. And I hope to be able to do this again. Like, it was such an amazing experience, and God did some amazing stuff, not only in our team because we went with no expectations, but also through Acts 29 and seeing the faithfulness of their people, the workers there, and all of that stuff. It was just a really great trip, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is Ashley, and we're both in Bowling Green, Kentucky for spring break. We went with Steve Newton, who is our leader, and 13 other students, right? Or 12 other students. And when we went to Bowling Green, we were at a campground called Eagle Ridge Camp, and that's the camp for the Southern Free Methodist Conference down there. And what we did was we painted a lot around the camp. We tried to get rid of some stumps. It sort of failed, but it was because the stumps weren't dead enough. We also picked up lots of limbs, and we also raked a ton, and we also did some trimming. And we also went out to like small churches nearby, like 30 minutes, or I think one of the churches was like 45 minutes away, and we helped out with their programs. One of their programs was evangelizing, like door-to-door evangelizing. So that was quite an interesting experience for us. I think a lot of us were scared, and it was our first time, but there were no problems, and I think we all got away safe. I mean, not got away safe, but we all went away safe. But we came back safely. And we also also raked a church, like their parking lot and the pastor's home. And although it was just raking, it took like the 15 of us like 2 to 3 hours to rake the whole thing, like to rake the whole like church background and the pastor's home. So at first we were just like, oh, this is barely anything. But then when we were thinking about it, if it was just 1 or 2 people raking the whole church, it would have taken them like a week or 2. But there were 15 of us willing to rake. So it just took 2 to 3 hours in a day. And I think that was how like we really realized like God can work through us that way, like in numbers, not just with 1 person or 2. And yeah, it just really helped me realize the power of numbers, because at first I was like, oh, this is just raking, it's easy, we just got this done in a day. But then Steve brought up the point, like, no, it was because there were so many of you with the right heart and the right attitude. Like, we were all one, we all had the same goal, and so that's why we were able to, finish raking or finish picking up sticks in 1 day, where it would have taken the church like a couple of days or maybe even a week. We also worked with teens one night. They were teens from the Southern Free Methodist churches, and we were able to just hang out with them. A couple of us were able to share our testimonies with them, which really, I think, touched teens when we were talking to them after the worship service. We were just like, wow, it was so good to hear your stories. Like, it really hit home. Like, some of them really connected well. And they were also wondering, like, why didn't the rest of you share? And we were just like, we didn't have enough time, sorry. So that's what we did.
Just kind of going off of what Grace said, by the end of the week, we were already receiving letters from the churches that we had worked at for thanking us for raking. And I think a lot of us felt really unworthy of that praise just because it only took us 2 or 3 hours and not days on end. But like she said, Steve just reminded us that when you join together with a group of people and have a common goal in mind, you're really working as the body of Christ. And so that, I think, really put the trip in perspective for a lot of us. And then going off of the testimonies, not only did we get to share with some of the teens, but throughout the trip, Steve gave each of us in the group an opportunity to share our testimony with each other. And I think that that was huge for us, because that was true fellowship that we had. There were definitely tears involved in some of those, but just being able to come alongside each other and just really support one another was great. Amongst that, I think we laughed the most that I've laughed in a really long time. So it was a great time. At the end of the trip, the last night, we kind of just had a relaxing day where we went hiking and we got to see some waterfalls, which was really cool. And Steve had us all gather around a campfire, and he had us kind of debrief. And he asked us to share the moment that we saw God, or the moment that kind of changed our heart for a specific ministry, or just something that we were really touched with. And it was just really neat to listen to everyone talk about how they had changed in just 9 days together. As Grace said, going door to door was a little unnerving for some of us, but I think that a lot of us had our moment during that time. And just reaching out to people, we realized that there are people who are part of a church family, and that's great, but there's also people who are hurting and who are asking questions and wanting to know more. And so Steve kind of just challenged us to just pray about having a sensitive heart towards people who are asking questions and wanting to know the Lord, and that we would just be able to walk alongside them in that. So we had a great trip. Thank you for all your prayers and support as well.
So I also went to Puerto Rico with Michaela, and we were only supposed to have one, but I wanted to support and then felt the need. So we went on this trip, and we didn't really know each other, and we ended up becoming so close. And Michaela was really awesome, and Carrie was awesome. And just something I wanted to share is we had to, first we have this rebar, and so we had to bend it, and so Michaela and I both attempted, and we weren't that good. So we passed it off to someone else who he kind of was nervous about if he would be good, or he's never really done this kind of stuff before, and he was awesome. And it was so cool because he sees that he can do something that he didn't actually think he could do. And then, so he has to bend it, and then we have to do these little twisty coils. And so we are doing these little minuscule things that we think, what is the point of this? And so then we had to put bars through it, and so it looks like these big paper clips through with these 6 bars that are holding it up. And then they ended up holding it up so then we could put wood around it. So then we can make this big cement wall, which really is going to be the kitchen at this camp. And so seeing that these little tiny jobs that, again, the raking that they said, what am I doing? How is this helping anything? And so it's just that these little things that you do really add up, and they make a difference. And if we wouldn't have had somebody making these perfect little big paper clips, or we didn't have people that really learned how to twist and hold the stuff together, then we wouldn't have been able to contribute to this camp as much as we did. And so it's just, I mean, the behind the scene jobs and everything that Carrie and Anna did for us was, I'm sure a ton of it was behind the scenes, but yet it was just such an awesome product. And I mean, the little things really do matter, and that is what makes the big things. And that was something that I took away from the trip. And Michaela and I got to play basketball with some of the kids, and seeing how the language barrier, it doesn't really matter because we both know the game, we know the rules of the game, and so we can play. And there's this little sassy boy that we both played with, and he doesn't know much English, but he goes, "Game over, you!" and is pointing to me, and you know much. And so we're able to joke around with them, and I can say pollo, chicken, and that's all I'm going to know. But it was just such a fun time that we could just make the most of it. And Michaela, she lived in Thailand for a lot of her life, and so she's trying to count uno, dos, tres, and what is it? Uno, dos, something is Thai or something. And so but we all would laugh, and we had such a good time. And to minister, you don't necessarily need to know the language. You need to know how to love. And that was just something that was so awesome. And it was just a great experience, and it was really fun. So, thank you.
Thank you, each one of you. I greatly appreciate it. And to hear these stories and the opportunities that Spring Arbor gives these students, and I was sitting over thinking a year ago, and this was just before she said what she said, but remember Kim Hayworth talked to us about everything that you do in your job, it does matter. And so it doesn't matter how simple it is or how little it is, or thinking, man, this is a mundane part of my day of doing this again. I look back at the admissions team and picking up the phone for the 40th time in a day or something like that to make a call. But every simple thing you do does matter. Okay, and so I thank you for that. Students, thank you. If you need to skip off the class, but some of you do, I know, go ahead. But thank you again. Let's give them a hand.